Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I would watch my father play PlayStation 1 with games like Final Fantasy Tactic, 007, The World Is Not Enough, Star Wars Jedi Power Battles, and whatever Madden was current at the time.
Then, with the PS2 coming out in the 2000s, my father gave me his PS1. I had a few games I remember playing on it. I unfortunately don't have my original PS1, especially since I was gifted a PS2 later on. But before all that, I had played games like Monster Rancher 2 and Toy Story 2. There were some other games I can talk about in future videos, but today I want to talk about one of the games that would cement my love of platformers. Ape Escape. Now, I've never played an original PlayStation without the DualShock controller, but Ape Escape was a game that was heavily centered around the joystick, and it's thanks to this game that I found out that the L3 and R3 button were a button, utilized by actually pushing down on the sticks. The game was made by SIE Japan Studios, the same people that made games like Legends of Dragoon and Loco Roco. They also worked alongside companies to help make games like Shadow of the Colossus, The White Knight Chronicles, Demon Souls, and Bloodborne. The team spent 2 years developing the game and found that generally focusing on adapting to the controller was a significant challenge for the dev team. You gotta remember, at the time, the PlayStation was the team to actually utilize DualShock controls. Now, this is a series I will go back and play off and on, but I haven't played this game in about 6 years, and that was the re-release game on the PSP, which had Richard Steven Horvitz, who was the voice of Zim and Billy, and hearing Billy as the main character Spike is just ugh. But I looked up Spike's voice actor as well as all the main characters, and no one did anything in this series, and looking ahead, no one really keeps the same voice actor for the gang in this series, which is fine. We're here to talk about the game, so let's go for it with Ape Escape. The game starts out with a white monkey named Spectre putting on a helmet looking menacing and leading a group of monkeys out of a place called Monkey Park. And real quick, I am transported back to my childhood with this series. The music's playing for this opening scene gets me pumped. So the game shows our protagonist, Spike, running to the professor's lab with his friend Jake, or Buzz in Europe, talking about the professor's new invention,
time machine.
But when the boys show up, the apes have captured the professor and his assistant Natalie. The professor tries to warn the boys to leave, and then the apes flip on the
Time machine
and send everyone in the room except the professor and Natalie back in time. The professor's just ecstatic that his machine works, while Natalie reminds the professor what had just happened and they need to fix it. The professor then sends a message to Spike and the player about the time station, that he is about to go into the time of dinosaurs, and that Spectre has sent the monkeys back in time to rewrite history and have total world domination. Luckily, 2 of the professor's gadgets have traveled with us: the Time Net, which allows us to catch monkeys and send them back to the present day, and the Stun Club, which I swear as a kid was a lightsaber set to stun. We are then tasked with collecting the monkeys and stopping Spectre's plan to take over the world and rewrite history. Oh, and save our friend Jake, who was kidnapped and brainwashed into helping Spectre. You make your way through time, eventually making it to present day, where the monkeys have run amok and have kidnapped the professor and Natalie. Cassie, the professor's digital assistant, tells you generally where Spectre's location is, and you make your way through, eventually rescuing the professor, Natalie, and your brainwashed buddy until you beat Spectre. Then, after going back and collecting all the monkeys you left in time, then fight Spectre one last time, and then roll credits. Wow, my first time reviewing a game with an easy-to-grasp plot. All in all, you can expect it from this kind of game, but now that's done, let's talk about the gameplay. And man, this game does a cardinal sin. The jump button is the R2 button. I have never played a game that did that before, and it takes some time to get used to if you've never played the series before. You see, the face button houses your gadgets, giving you 4 to rapidly switch from, and using every gadget with the right analog stick. The left handles your movement, and the camera is reset behind the player using the L2 button. Once you're used to the controls, Spike is very versatile. He has the Stun Club that can do damage to enemies and stun monkeys with a flick of the joystick, a double jump for some nice platforming, and to get extra height, he has the Sky Flyer that you utilize by rapidly rotating the analog stick, a monkey radar that helps him locate hidden monkeys, a water net that allows him to swim, breathe, and catch monkeys underwater. And as a kid, I had a hard time figuring out that this was pressing down on the stick instead of pushing the analog stick in a downward manner. In fact, I played through most of the game not knowing that. I think I got my dad to get me past it when I was a kid. To be fair, I was 5 or 6. Oh yeah, and if a monkey swam underwater, he was dead to me. I would try faster to catch them before they got into the water with the help from the dash hoop, a hula hoop that you use by spinning the analog stick continuously to keep the speed going. You had the slingback shooter, a slingshot that you use by pulling back and releasing to fire to simulate the sense of actually using a slingshot. It also had missiles, so that was cool. The RC car, a gadget that you use to get through tight spaces and to be floor switch pushers. Finally, once you beat the game the first time, you get a magic punch, a gadget that did serious damage and can break special blocks to reveal hidden monkeys you couldn't get on your first playthrough. That's a lot of gadgets, and you're gonna need it because there's a variety of monkeys to deal with. You have the regular yellow pants monkeys that are generic. You have your red monkeys with boxing gloves that hit really hard and have really serious anger issues. Blue monkeys that are very fast and are prone to slipping at times. Green monkeys that are very tech savvy and have missiles. White monkeys that usually have bombs or something. And black monkeys that are packing heat with machine guns. And light blue monkeys that are really paranoid and scare very easily. And also chronically depressed.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
These give monkeys their own sense of personality and become iconic. When they go on the attack, you can take damage, which is represented by cookies. A full batch will have you take 10 hits before getting knocked out. Luckily, extra lives comes in the sake of jerseys. Nothing says getting you back in the game like a clean shirt. Then there are coins scattered throughout the stages. You collect 100 and then you're rewarded with an extra shirt. All the monkeys will use different vehicles as well, like UFO or battle stations to attack Spike. Luckily, Spike has some vehicles to use, like the boat. Using both analog sticks, rotating them in succession with each other will make the boat move. And as a kid, I had a hard enough time using these and found myself swimming instead, which sucks since they're usually filled with piranhas or some kind of electrical eel that would try to come at you. Finally, the tank. Using the analog stick, you can push the left one in to control the left treads, and then you can push the right one to control the right treads. You can fire pellets and missiles from the tank to take out enemies and certain roadblocks. Along with the monkeys to catch, there are Spectre coins to collect, which after a certain amount unlock minigames, which there are really just tech demos for what you could do with the analog sticks. You have Ski Kids, a racing game with cardboard cutout characters, Spectre Boxing, where an arm is mapped to the analog stick and you beat up other monkeys, and the only one I really spent any time with was Galaxy Monkey game, a twin-stick shooter that is reminiscent from arcade games like Asteroids. Other than that, there isn't really a whole lot to do with collecting all the coins besides bragging rights. The graphics for the PS1 look fantastic, and all the stages are really different from one another. You have 3 still levels, but one is in a sauna of a mountain and another one is in a blizzard area with woolly mammoths. The music, this particular entry has a lot of my favorite musics of any video game platformer. It has a drumming techno beat that cemented techno as a genre of music I loved at a young age. Definitely Krabby Beach and Spectre's Land Welcome being all-time favorites. I listen to the soundtrack while I'm doing the animations. The last thing to mention would be the time attack mode, which is a nice way to go through the stages again, and collecting coins will keep your time paused for a bit. But yeah, that covers Ape Escape. All in all, a very fun platformer, and definitely a game to get for any PS1 collection. The PSP version has better graphics, but the lack of a second analog stick makes this game an inferior version. Also, so can I recommend this game? Well, I'm biased. I love this game, and I think if you're a fan of platformers, you should give it a try. But the game can feel very repetitive with catching monkeys all the time, but all in all, I think this game is a cornerstone of the PlayStation 1. I recommend getting an original PS1 copy with the game series. It isn't hard to get for a reasonable price, and you can play it on the PlayStation 1 to 3. Alright, so let's keep Ape Escape month rolling with Ape Escape 2. We're jumping to the PS2 next time. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.